Before we proceed further, request you to please subscribe to our channel as shown above. Hello friends, welcome to Kamath Astrology. In today's video, we are going to cover the planetary transits that are going to happen in the month of April 2022. April 2022 is a very special month because all the planets are going to change signs in this month. The major planets such as Jupiter, Saturn, Rahu and Ketu, who are relatively slow moving, are changing signs in the same month. And this is a very rare occurrence that Jupiter, Saturn, Rahu and Ketu, as well as the other planets, are changing signs in the same month. So when such major planetary changes are there, it also means there is going to be a major change in the world in this month, and therefore this month has to be accorded a special importance. So let us look at these transits sequentially. First we have the Mars transit into the sign of Aquarius on 7th April 2022. Then Mercury or Buddha moves into the sign of Mesh or Aries on April 8th, 2022. On April 12th, 2022, Rahu enters into the sign of Aries or Mesh and Ketu enters into the sign of Libra or Tula. On April 13th, Jupiter enters into Mean or Pisces. On April 14th, Sun enters into Mesh or Aries. On April 25th, Mercury or Buddha enters into the sign of Taurus. On April 27th, Venus or Shukra enters into the sign of Pisces or Mean. And finally, on April 29th, Shanidev or Saturn moves into the sign of Kumbh or Aquarius. So you can see in a short span of 22 days, almost all the 7 planets are changing signs. Even Neptune moves into Pisces on April 18, 2022. So with the exception of Uranus and Pluto, you can see that all the other planets are changing signs in April 2022. Now this chart shows the various transits that are going to occur on the respective dates mentioned in the month of April. So as I explained in my earlier videos, Mars and Saturn are going to be conjunct at exact 28 degrees in the sign of Capricorn on 5th April 2022, and this is going to result in a major event in the world, a major explosive event in the world, because Capricorn is the sign which deals with masses, which deals with government, which deals with hierarchical structures, which deals with power structures. So a major event is going to happen around 4th and 5th April 2022, which is going to shake the world. So this is the first prediction, that around 4th and 6th April you will see some major incident happening in the world. This is not a very good news for India, because the sign of Capricorn is the 9th house of good luck for India. And when such opposing energies such as Mars and Saturn conjunct in the sign of Capricorn, Capricorn being the 9th house for India also indicates gurus, dharma and religion, and therefore some incident related to religion, some outburst related to religion, some kind of riot or confusion may take place around this time of 4th and 6th April in India. And this combination of Mars and Saturn in the sign of Capricorn around 5th April is also going to affect the Indian economy in a big way, because Capricorn is the sign which deals with economy, and being the 9th house for a Taurus ascendant, it represents some downfall in the economy, some problems in the economy. Luckily, on April 7th, 2022, Mars moves away from Saturn and enters into the sign of Aquarius or Kumbh, and he stays there till May 17th, 2022. Next, let us look at the sign of Aries or Mesh. So, on April 8th, 2022, Mercury enters into the sign of Aries. Mercury is our intellect. It also represents the stock market. It represents the sectors such as banking. And Rahu enters Aries on 12th April 2022. And then Sun enters Aries on 14th April 2022. So the time period from 8th April to around 14th April, you can see 3 planets entering into the sign of Aries. Now Aries is the first house in the zodiac belt, and it indicates new beginnings. It indicates a new era. It indicates new events. Now the Sun and Rahu are coming together along with Mercury, which means that Rahu creates some disturbance in this time. So if you look at Mercury, Mercury also represents communication skills, communication networks. Rahu represents fraud and cheating, and the Sun represents the government and authority. The sign of Aries is the sign of quickness. It is the sign of agility, which means that this combination of Rahu, Mercury and Sun from 8th April is going to result in an increase in cyber frauds across the world. So some major scams related to the stock market, related to the banking sector will come out in this time period. Now there is one more planet already present in Aries which I have not mentioned here, and that is Uranus. Now Aries is a fiery sign. Sun is a fiery planet. Rahu amplifies the fire. Uranus represents airplanes. Mercury represents cyber attacks, cyber communications, which means that in this time, attack via the airplanes will increase across the world. So there will be wars where airplanes will be destroyed in a major way, is what I foresee because of this combination of Rahu, Mercury, Uranus and Sun in the sign of Aries starting 14th April 2022, because after 14th April 2022 these 3 planets will be together. Another thing to remember is that because Mercury is afflicted here, the stock market is going to fluctuate. Rahu represents fluctuations, and major powers across the world, major leaders across the world will take decisions based on their ego, because the Sun is the ego, Rahu amplifies the ego, and Mercury is the intellect which is afflicted. So this is going to result in major wars between different countries in the world. Now because Mercury is more of a verbal communication, you can see intense debates between different countries which are a part of the NATO alliance. In fact, these countries might oppose each other and fight with each other starting April 14th, 2022. So the advice to general public is to be careful of things such as inflation in this time period. The prices of essential commodities of oil will go up in this time period, and therefore it is very necessary that you have adequate cash in hand to meet the expenses of at least the next 3 to 4 months. So keep a good amount of cash with you, because when the inflation comes, the prices will rise and you might find it extremely difficult to buy the high priced items. But there is a good thing also happening on 13th April 2022. The planet of divine wisdom, the planet of higher learning, the planet of optimism, the planet of happiness, that is Jupiter or Guru, is entering into his own sign, that is the sign of Pisces or mean, which represents spiritual waters. And on April 18th, the planet of compassion, the planet of delusion, that is Neptune, will also join Jupiter in the sign of Pisces. So, this is going to bring about a wave of spiritual awareness across the world. People will become compassionate, work in groups to help humanity, and that is a very good thing. Now, what does Neptune represent? Neptune represents compassion, but at the same time, Neptune also represents delusion, and the 12th house represents our subconscious mind. So, people may overdo the spiritual activities. People may overdo things. People may get addicted to different substances. And that is a bad result of the Jupiter Neptune conjunction. So, never overdo things. Know your limits and stay within the limits. Now, what is the sign of Pisces? It is a watery sign. What is Neptune? Neptune is nothing but Varun, who represents the god of ocean. Jupiter represents storms, Jupiter represents strong winds, and therefore this combination of Jupiter and Neptune for at least a year in the sign of Pisces may result in floods in different parts of the world. It may also result in tsunamis and cyclones in the oceans across the world. Now, when Rahu and Ketu change signs on April 12th, Rahu will enter the Mesh Rashi and Ketu will enter the Tula Rashi. So, the Rahu Ketu axis is along the first house and the seventh house in the natural zodiac belt, which means that across the world order will change, the power structures will change. Libra is the sign of balance, and when Ketu enters here, it is going to create some imbalance. Power structures across the world will change. You will see that many nations will move towards China, will move towards Russia, and there will be certain groups of nations which will be aligned with the United States. And China will rise as a major power in the times ahead. Now, when Ketu is in Tula, Rahu is in Aries, it means the married life of several people across the world will be affected in a negative manner. Why? Because Ketu is moving away from something, it is renouncing something, and therefore you will see an increase in the divorces in the world. On 25th April 2022, Mercury enters into the sign of Taurus, and around this time you might see the stock market again going up slightly. You will see an upward trend in the stock market. So if you have some loss making stocks in your portfolio and if they increase in this time period after 25th April, it would be a good idea to sell them off. Now use your discretion and take an informed call. Just don't sell your stocks because I am telling you to do so. Okay, you take an informed decision. On 27th April 2022, Venus or Shukra enters his exaltation sign of Pisces or mean, and he also meets Jupiter there along with Neptune. So both the gurus are together in the 12th house of spirituality, which means across the world there is an increase in spiritual awareness. However, Jupiter and Venus are opposing ideas. One is Dev Guru and the other is Asur Guru, which means that when this combination is there in the sign of Pisces, people are obsessed by their religious beliefs, and that can create riots and civil wars in different parts of the world also. But overall, the conjunction of Jupiter, Neptune, and Venus in the sign of Pisces towards the end of April suggests an increase in the spiritual awareness and increase in compassion and good things for humanity. Now, on April 7th, 2022, Mars enters into the sign of Aquarius, and therefore Mars is separated from Saturn. Thou he is present in the house ruled by Saturn. They are in two separate houses. However, on 29th April 2022, Saturn crosses over into the sign of Aquarius, and he is going to remain there till July 12th, 2022. So from 29th April 2022, Mars and Saturn will again be in the same sign, but this time in the sign of Aquarius. Now in Aquarius, Saturn behaves positively. Mars is the power, and therefore there is an increase in humanitarian activities. Large groups will be formed across the world which will help humanity in a big way. But remember that Mars and Saturn is always an explosive combination, and therefore, this being the natural 11th house of gains, aspirations, and desires, we might find some kind of lack of satisfaction in our life during this time period. Our wishes may not be very easily fulfilled in this time period, and there will be some kind of struggle to attain our goals, our aspirations, and desires in this time period. So, to conclude, April 2022 is going to be a very eventful month wherein there will be a rise in spiritual awareness, and there will be certain natural disasters, certain bad events also. But overall, Jupiter's presence in Pisces is going to bring about healing. So friends, if you like this video, please mark it as liked on YouTube. If you have not subscribed to our channel Kamath Astrology, you can do so by clicking the subscribe button. For any consultations, email us at astrosevaworld@yahoo.com and we'll be glad to assist you. To know more about us, visit our website astroseva.tripod.com. So friends, thanks a lot. Take care and stay safe.